Hey y'all, welcome to episode 16 of the Prolific Shift Sunday Sit Down on 10/10/2021. I am Janae Peters, and I am the founder, CEO, content creator, producer, digital art. No, I'm not the digital artist. Actually, my logo was done by Art of Space Graphics, so I'll take that title out. And I'm also not the music producer. That's done by Mind State Designs / my fiance. So I'm not those things, but everything else right now I am, until I'm something different, until it's expanded, and I'm going to speak that one into existence. But this space for Prolific Shifts is one where I take what I can do, which is offer a line of inquiry for folks who are interested to follow in their week, not as a have to, not as a must have, not as a masterclass, but as an offering. As something that I am also engaged in. So it's also a point of connection where it's something I'll also engage in that week as I work on any transformations and shifts and with which I feel the need to be in community with. So that offering is here in this space for you all as well. Last week's question asked, what advice would you give others about how they might live their best life, or how you've learned to live your best life was probably more accurate. And the action item was for you to ask some people in your world about their answer to that question and see what you learned about and from each other. And this week, I usually say we're in the same vein. This one I think is actually quite different. So this week's question is asking us, where, how, and from whom did you learn about intimacy and love? And what role does intimacy or love play in your life? So this one, but I guess they're all always interesting to me. But this one is particularly interesting to me because coming off of thinking about healing, as part of my response to last week's question, thinking about healing, I think a lot of the healing that a lot of us need to do, I think especially if you're a Black or brown person living in these here United States, is really understanding our relationships to closeness, to intimacy, and to love, right? And I think about that romantically. I think about that also platonically. And I think about that professionally. But I think engagement with that, like understanding what we have learned about it and where we learned about it and how we feel about that and how we want to feel about that, how we want to engage it, are things that I think will help us tremendously on a path towards healing. There's a lot of pain in this world. And I think a lot of structural issues that prevent people from being who I think they might otherwise be. And for those reasons, I think that there aren't a ton of great and positive examples of healthy relationships to intimacy and love. And I think about that like when we turn that to ourselves, whether that's self-awareness, self-respect, self-care, self-love. I think a lot of us actually don't know how to do that. And so I think when people ask us, like, what do you do to take care of yourself? A lot of times we don't know the answer, or a lot of times the answer that we force out there is actually not about us. It's about other things. And I think having a healthy relationship with ourselves and then with others is one of those things that will engage collective liberation. Now, when I think about where, from whom, and how I learned about intimacy and love, I think everything I learned about it has been a contradiction. I think it's been people expressing and engaging resilience, coming from spaces of deep hurt. And I have felt loved and I have felt supported throughout my life. And I also have felt lacking, I think, in those spaces. And I think for that, it's, I think back to feeling hardened. I think back to not understanding why Uncle so-or-so or whatever is with, or who he has all the kids with, whatever that is. I think that there's a lot of confusion about what intimacy is, what love is. And I think that is connected both to societal expectations and also to the societal structures that have participated in some real tough stuff for the Black community. So that's all I'm going to do with that one right now here in this space, but I am going to keep thinking about this one this week and where and how it lives for me. When I think of the role that it plays in my world, I think I am learning a lot about love and intimacy in my current relationship, which is almost at 8 years, which is kind of wild to say that 8 years in, I feel like I'm learning about this. I'm learning from him. I'm learning about myself in relationship to someone else. I'm learning about myself in the ways in which I have changed and grown, in the ways in which we have changed and grown in relationship to each other. I'm understanding differently what support is. I'm understanding differently what encouragement is and what it sounds like and what it looks like. And I'm also learning how to demonstrate for myself that I love and care about myself, and then how to do that while in relationship. And so I think the role that it's playing in my life is an increasingly more important one. I think I prioritize intellectual and academic pursuits for a long time, and I don't know, didn't find love in them, but experienced what felt like love, I think, because there was support and lots of other things. But I think what I'm learning about now really is how to get to know myself, open myself up to the type of love and care that will actually sustain me and I would say actually launch me. The action item for this week is like, when you really think about this answer, that, the role of intimacy, the role of love, or how, when, and where you learned it, take some time and rewrite your narrative. And I don't think this one has to be past focused, because the past is not a pretty place for a lot of us, but it does inform what the present is for sure. But engage in some dream space around it. How do you want to engage intimacy and love? How do you want to learn about those things? What relationships present that possibility to you? And if there aren't any that you can name in this time and space, what can you do for yourself so that when those things come into your orbit, when you are in alignment such that those things come your way, that you're ready for them? So that action item is to do some dream space engagement with yourself related to your answers to that question. I think this one is a really important one for collective care, for collective liberation, for personal growth and personal development. And I think that our responses to this, our dreams around this, the way we position ourselves for this, the way we learn about ourselves and respect ourselves in a way that gets us ready for this, I think those are the things that are going to be helpful as we think about what a healthy relationship to intimacy, a healthy relationship to love, relationships and in their various forms are for us. And I think about that for us as individuals, for us in our families, for us in our friendships, for us as a collective people, and then for us as a collective of humans as well. So lots of big potential for a big shift there. Thank you very much for engaging with this. As always, looking forward to the next time I get to offer this and to be in community with you all in this virtual space and otherwise. And take good care, and I'll see y'all next week. All right, peace. If you liked anything you heard, please don't hesitate to comment, like, subscribe, or support in any of these ways, and especially through your love and care. Peace, and I'll see y'all again soon.